Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant, and yes, we are talking about India's spectacular win against Pakistan in the World Cup T20 International in Colombo. The question is, should we even call Pakistan arch rivals Pakistan? Or is it now time to call them minnows Pakistan? And it's the minnows vis-a-vis the giants, the titans, because this isn't just one match or one series, but just take a look at the recent cricketing history between India and Pakistan and their absolute collapse. It's almost like the Pakistan army in war. It's the Pakistan cricket team between those yards, 22 yards. But while we get you more details about the collapse of the Pakistani team, 78 for 6, the 61 run defeat, the reactions in Pakistan, there are many who say that entire boycott drama wasn't about cricket. It was because Pakistan knew they cannot face India, they thought they'd rather boycott. And then there are those who say they should rather have boycotted instead of this shameful defeat of Pakistan. And joining me now from Colombo is our India Today's Vikrant Gupta and Nikhil Naz. Joining me from Pakistan is Abdullah Hamid Gul, Chairman Jawanan Party. Gentlemen, welcome. Vikrant, to you first. Is it an India-Pakistan rivalry anymore? Are they arch rivals, or are they clearly no longer rivals when it comes to just the two teams, how they match up? They clearly, between 22 yards, we are far superior.
Well, there is India-Pakistan rivalry, not on the cricket field anymore, Gaurav. It's the post-Operation Sindoor that people will drum up the India-Pakistan rivalry. Like I said, not on the cricket field. And I must add that the tea is fantastic. These Pakistani players have been mocking the Indians for a number of years now, talking about the tea. Of course, you know what I'm referring to. But this was a reality check for Pakistan.
Absolutely.
I think they were best served by boycotting the game. They should have stuck to the boycott, and they should have then taken a moral stand saying, देखो हम हारे थोड़ी हैं. हमने तो इंडिया को झुका दिया. The way they come out and take U-turns and then claim कि नहीं जी हम तो जीत गए. Good that the cricket matches are telecast live on TV. And you also know what I'm referring to.
Good that these cricket matches are telecast
But
live
the
on
tea
in
is
Pakistan.
fantastic.
They
But
would
the
have
tea
said
is
Pakistan
fantastic.
has won. It indeed is. Abdullah Hamid Gul, welcome. Sir, reactions in Pakistan that we witness on television. There are many who say boycott would have been better and more honorable compared to this crushing defeat for Pakistan, sir.
Thank you very much, Gaurav Saab, for taking me to your show. First of all, congratulations. You played well. India played well. There is no doubt about it. And it was a good game of cricket. We enjoyed everyone last night. And I think the one who is going to work hard, definitely, it's going to pay back. Pakistan did not perform well as we expected. Because I think lots of changes are to be done over here. And lots of changes are going to take place definitely in the game of cricket. But I think it was just a game of cricket. I think I do not want to mingle it with the political scenarios or the, war scenarios, because we all know what the West has been talking about. So I don't want to bring it to that point. I just want to keep it to the cricket. I think as far as if my other guest was referring to the tea, a cup of tea. It is just a video which is there, none other by Abhinandan Sahab. So I think this is a video. This is also a documentary evidence.
Okay.
And like the live telecast of television, India played well. I think Nikhil batting was excellent, very nicely played. The field was good, the bowling was good, and Pakistani players, there was a lack of unity over there. There was lack of teamwork there, and I think everyone was trying to play their own game. And of course, we need to focus on the domestic cricket also, from where people should be selected, and they should come for the international cricket council tournaments.
Sure. If I may,
Yeah.
Pakistan cricket actually represents Pakistan. The chaos in Pakistan is the chaos in Pakistan cricket team. The amount of politics that's come into it, Nikhil. I also want to bring in Nikhil Naz into this conversation because the way Pakistan team played, there's such a huge difference between what they claim and what they deliver. It's all about, very typical Pakistani propaganda vis-a-vis actual effects on ground, Nikhil.
Well, Gaurav, I'll probably mention two interesting points that should put into perspective the difference between India and Pakistan at the moment. And I'm going to be objective, try and stick to cricket. There was a time where Pakistan did produce good cricketers. Every Indian knew each of the Pakistani players that would play simply because you wanted to know your rivals, you wanted to beat your rivals, and that's why you knew exactly the opposition you're up against, whether it was Saeed Anwars of the world or Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis, Shoaib Akhtar. Every Indian knew that because you took them seriously. I don't think that forget the Indian team, you heard from Surya Kumar Yadav himself where he said it's no more a rivalry, and I think he's walking the talk by churning out the performance that he is one after the other. But look at the Indian fans as well. Hand on heart, if I was to walk around the streets of Colombo meeting thousands of Indian fans that have turned up, or if you walk the streets of Delhi or Mumbai, ask even the biggest Indian cricket fan to name 5 Pakistani players, he'll struggle to name more than 5. Why? Because of the lack of competition that comes from that side. They don't even bother to know the opposition because they know that opposition cannot hurt that. Because they know that the opposition is so far inferior to them that it's not an issue at all. So I'm telling you honestly, every Pakistani player will be able to name all Indian 11 players. In fact, 30, 40, 50 Indian cricketers that play in the IPL because they look up to it, because that's the benchmark. I don't think an Indian fan will be able to name even 5 players. Secondly, I think, Gaurav, this rivalry would have been dead and buried if it wasn't for the politics. If Pakistan did not continue to push terror, if Pakistan and India were not involved in a skirmish at the border, if there was no Operation Sindoor, honest to God, there would have been no taker for an India-Pakistan encounter. Not even the broadcaster, not even the fans that turned up. It's only because of a nationalistic fervor and nationalistic feeling that Indians still want to watch an India-Pakistan encounter because of all other things that happens in the political world. If by any chance, let's say, politically it becomes all quiet on the LOC, and otherwise also both governments don't engage, and there is no terror sponsored activity from Pakistan, let's say, for the next few years, nobody is going to watch an India-Pakistan encounter in India. They might as well watch India-Australia, India-England. So that rivalry is only dependent on the politics, not on the cricket, and that's
I completely agree.
Pakistan cricket, which finds itself down in the dumps.
Yeah. I'd rather watch India, Australia, India, West Indies, India, England, India, New Zealand. These are countries you want to watch. I'd rather skip India, Pakistan. But if we were to talk about the Pakistani team, Vikrant, and, just a clinical assessment, what's going wrong with the Pakistani cricket team? Abdullah Hamid Gul had several points. They don't play together. They're not coming together as a team. They're not cohesive. The amount of politics that's coming into the cricket team. In fact, Mohsin Naqvi is known more for the politics he brings to the cricket than to anything he may have done for Pakistan cricket. Vikrant.
Gaurav, like you said, any country's sports will be a reflection of the state of the country. We all know, Hamid Gul Saab will know better than us. I've been to Pakistan many times and I've seen Pakistan cricket in their pomp. I come from a generation, and I grew up in Punjab, where we would see Pakistan television and we thought maybe Pakistan was more progressive in the 80s, even until the mid-90s. Their cricket was a reflection of the country that they were living in. The point is, see, whatever ills are there with their team, we've got nothing to do with that. They cannot blame India. If the system is broken, if they are not cohesive, if there is politicking, but that's not our concern. The point that Nikhil was trying to make is that, for the last 2 odd weeks, They were tom-tomming the broadcaster. They were tom-tomming the fact that there was revenue riding on the game. But I told you that day, Gaurav, it is like WWE. But WWE the pay-per-view is the maximum in world sport. People know that it's Nura Kushti. It is not real fight that goes on. You know that one guy is going to win and he's going to bash up the other. It's the same with India, Pakistan in the ICC tournaments. 150 crore Indians switch on the television the day India is
Oh
playing
my God.
Pakistan because they know that India is going to bash them up. Again, like I said, I grew up in a generation where Pakistan dominated us. We had that mental block ever since Javed Miandad
Yeah.
hit that six of Chetan Sharma in 1986. It took us
Chetan
8 or 9
Sharma.
years to beat them in Sharjah. They were winning every game. There were games we were very close to winning, but we could not finish them off.
Yeah.
Why? Because we didn't have that self-belief against them. They were
We
fighters.
choked.
They had that killer
Yeah.
instinct. They had wonderful players. And they had Imran Khan. What can I say of a country where Imran Khan, the news that we are getting from Pakistan, I mean, the greatest cricketer ever produced by
Yeah.
that country, the man who won them the World Cup, the man who's also Prime Minister, he's
Is
lost his
languishing in
vision.
jail.
He's languishing in jail. He's lost his vision. The man who saw tomorrow,
True.
is without his vision. So what can we say? And it's again
Let me
their choice.
quickly. Yeah, let me get Abdullah Hamid Gul to also. Yeah, no, let me get Abdullah Hamid Gul also to reflect on this. You know, your cricket team, sir, reflects the state of your country and perhaps the situation that Imran Khan is in. And you can guide us better because we are only going through reports that come in from Pakistan. They seem to indicate he's lost 85% vision in one eye. He's languishing in Adiala jail. He's not getting the best medical attention that he deserves to get. And this is not just his family who's saying it, his party leaders are saying it. Is that what is wrong with Pakistan cricket? Too much politics coming into Pakistan cricket and not enough sport?
Gaurav Saab, I could have leveled all the allegations and charges, by my, fellow colleagues over here. But this is not the forum because we are discussing cricket, and I want to, stick to cricket. If cricket is the reflection of the country, then of course the military is also the reflection of the country, and the whole world knows the truth story about the Marka Haq in May 2025.
Which is
I don't
not
want to
true.
go into the details.
That
I
is
don't want to go
exactly,
into the
sir,
details.
if you permit
But
me.
as far
No,
as
I
Imran
want to
Khan
go
is
into it.
concerned,
I want to go
as
into
far
it
as
so that
Mr. Imran
Pakistanis
Khan-
know the truth. You
As
know,
far as
had
Mr.
that
Imran Khan
been
is
live,
concerned,
you
the
knew you would have
latest
lost.
reports-
Sir, if bombs were falling in Rawalpindi and Lahore, have a heart. If bombs were falling, BrahMos missiles were falling in
Well,
Rawalpindi
your
and
media was-
in
your
Lahore,
media was
and you
also
say you
reporting-
won.
Your media
Really?
was also reporting that they have, they
No,
have bombed
no,
the,
don't worry what
you know,
media was reporting. We are
well,
reporting
you
what
know,
your
I-
media was reporting.
Well,
Your
look
media
at-
was
what
reporting.
about Mr. Trump
Rawalpindi,
then?
Noor
Mr.
Khan.
What was Mr.
Sir,
Trump
you're a
saying?
general
Mr.
son.
Gaurav, please,
You're a general son.
Just give me one statement of Mr.
Trump never
where
said
he
Indian.
that,
You're a
you know,
general
India
son.
bombed everything and Pakistan, you lost. Just give me one statement of, Mr. Donald Trump. 78
Give me one
times
statement
Mr.
of Trump where he said
that
Indian planes were
India
lost.
was crushed by Pakistan.
Did he say
8
India?
to 0.
Did he say
and
India?
now he is talking
No.
about 10 to 0
Nope.
fighter
Nope.
jets. No, if we have to talk like this, then there is no use.
Sir,
we were discussing
that is the
cricket,
tragedy
and
with
as far as Mr.
Pakistanis.
Imran Khan is
That is the
concerned,
tragedy of
Mr.
Pakistan.
Imran Khan's latest report
That is the
that
tragedy of
he is
Pakistan.
all right
Abdullah
and he
Hamid
has
Gul.
just,
That is the
he
tragedy
has
of
to add
Pakistan.
0.75
आपको सच सुनना नहीं आता.
and that is good
Nowhere
for his
did Trump
vision.
say India lost the aircraft. That is
No, I
Pakistani
think
propaganda,
Mr. Trump
and
just
that is the
give me
propaganda
one
you believe.
statement where
Not
Mr.
once
Trump
did he
has
say
said
India.
that
The
India has,
tragedy is, you show me one statement where he said India, but Pakistan cannot show that statement. But let me bring in Nikhil. I am so glad Pakistan lost Operation Sindoor, Operation Sindoor to cricket. That's the only language Pakistan deserves. Crush them. Crush them. Sir, आप अमेरिका के आगे कितना भी भीख मांग लो. Don't imagine a country that needs Pakistan. Just put his audio down here. A country that needs Pakistan. A country that, oh come on. A country that needs to be rescued by America every time with a begging bowl is now talking to us. That's the truth about Pakistan. Nowhere did Trump say India lost the aircraft. He said aircraft were lost. And India has said officially on record, Pakistan lost 2 aircraft. Those were his airborne early warning command and control systems. They lost 8 of their F-16s and JF-17s. All of that is known. It's in public domain. But no Pakistani will mention that. No Pakistani will mention the loss to your air bases, your radar stations. क्योंकि सच सुनना नहीं है पाकिस्तानियों को और उसी झूठ में जीना है, like they won 71 in their minds. But Nikhil, when it comes to Pakistan cricket, it's exactly the same thing. In their minds, they think they will defeat India, but the truth is they lose each time. Why does Pakistan lose each time? And statistics, you don't just go by one game. There's a long statistics that list of games that Pakistan has lost.
Well, I'll tell you why they lose very often. There are many cricketing reasons, and the simple answer to that is there is a huge difference in the skill level between where the Indian team is, where the Pakistan team is. Dare I say, if India were to put maybe 3 teams at the moment playing simultaneously versus Pakistan, there's a good chance that India's B and even C team might beat them. And this is not me being arrogant. I'm just looking at it very objectively and looking at the bench strength that India has. But just to let you know, why is it that Pakistan loses this match? And in fact, I think they lose the match even before the first ball is bowled. I'll give you another example. India played the Champions Trophy. Their games were in Dubai, right? What did Pakistan do about that Champions Trophy? They started cribbing even before the match started that this is unfair advantage to India. They are sitting in Dubai. All other teams have to travel. We have to travel between Sri Lanka. We have to travel to Pakistan. We have to travel to Dubai. This is unfair. India gets this unfair advantage, stationed in one place. They are acclimatized to that area. They know the conditions. This is the unfair advantage India has gotten. You know what happened in this tournament? Pakistan is based in Sri Lanka. Indian team played a game late Thursday night, traveled on Friday night, practiced one session on Saturday, played a game, wrapped up Pakistan, very, very quickly, went home. And you know what? Not a single Indian player even complained about the hectic travel schedule or that Pakistan had been stationed here. They know the conditions. They get that thing because they knew their job is to play cricket, not come up with excuse. Pakistan comes up with excuse. You look at their analysis after they have lost. You know what their analysis is? Oh, Babar Azam ko nikal do, Shaheen Shah Afridi ko nikal do, Shadab ko nikal do. But what will happen? Aap unko nikal do. Who are you going to bring? You will bring a Hussain Talat. You will probably bring a Rizwan back. You've removed Shaheen. You will bring a Naseem Shah, or you will get Haris Rauf back. The thing is, it's the same circle of players. You keep rotating. Some of them were playing in Asia Cup where they lost 3-0. Now you want them back. The thing is, you do not want to catch the bull by its horn. Look it into his face and say you're inferior at the moment. The structure of Pakistan cricket is not there. You can replace X by Y or Y by Z. The fact of the matter is no one, whoever comes, cannot beat this Indian team because the structure is not there. You have to start at the grassroots level, look at those areas, and then maybe, and it's a big maybe, in 10 years or 15 years time, you might compete with India. Not at the moment.
In 10 years or 15 years, will there be a Pakistan? Again, is an issue that Pakistanis will have to grapple with because Baluchistan already has shown through Herov 2.0, their power and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But be that as it may, that's a separate story. But Vikrant, the problem with Pakistan cricket, and I'm quoting some Pakistani analysts who say it's the Maibab Sarkar. Every powerful political leader wants his nephew in the team. So it's not talent, it's not merit, it's contacts. And of course, it's Mohsin Naqvi's arrogance that's ruining Pakistan cricket. Vikrant, is that true since you and Nikhil study the subject so well?
Gaurav, to be very honest, I mean, Mohsin Naqvi is an important figure in Pakistan. Politically, and cricket is something that he also runs. The point is, every India-Pakistan game, he turns that into the India-Pakistan political rivalry. Now, this wasn't the first time. We've seen many times he would go to the Pakistani teams 1 day, 2 days before the game. He'd meet the team, he'd address them, and the players, the international players, would be sitting there like a bunch of school kids listening to him. He would give them some lecture and the team would lose the next day. When he came to Sri Lanka, I told Nikhil, if he's actually going to meet the players one night before the game, Pakistan will be dead and buried. And that's exactly what happened. Because you put pressure on the players saying, Jao, jihad karo, jeetna hai, aise kar do. I don't know. You let your players focus on the game. See, Mr. Hamid Gul is absolutely right. Cricket is cricket,
Yeah.
and the rest is in a different box. But who's combining the two of them? Nobody is. It's the Pakistanis. And Mohsin Naqvi should
Yeah.
have stood by the players. I'll just give you one example. And I'm sorry, Gulsab, because again,
Sure.
I know deep in your heart you will understand what I'm trying to say. So Mohsin Naqvi was at the ground. Of course he can because he's the Pakistan Cricket Board chairman. And he was all ready to cheer for his team. Of course, he wanted his team to win. So when he saw that the team was losing, the Pakistani team was losing, much before the game ended, he left the stadium. There are visuals on the screen that we can see. He left the stadium.
Yeah.
He abandoned his players, right? Cut to 19th November 2023, the World Cup final in Ahmedabad. India were playing Australia. India lost the finals. We were all very depressed. The country was in depression. The Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Narendra Modi, went to the Indian dressing room. He did not abandon them. Of course, if India had won, he would have congratulated the team. But he went there, consoled them, said, "Koi baat nahi yaar, aap yahan tak to aaye ho. If you're the second best in the world, so be it." That's how your leaders must inspire generations. That's how you back your sportsmen. That's how you create
Okay.
heroes.
The criticism, yeah, that's a great point you made, because Abdullah Hamid Gul Saab, the criticism in Pakistan or of Pakistan cricket is your leaders use the team for self-glory, to gain themselves and not for the team to gain. Is that fair criticism of Mohsin Naqvi?
I wish you could have, hear me the same way you are hearing your two other guests. But unfortunately, you just muted my mic and,
Sir,
you
I
kept
don't
on
want
saying your
my,
things.
no, because I don't,
Anyhow,
I will, because I
I'll
will not
respond
let
to
you
your
lie on my
question.
tail, because I know that's the
Allow me,
truth.
or if
On
you
India
want to
Today, we
talk,
speak
okay,
the
you can
truth.
talk. I'll keep quiet. You can talk as much as you wish. It's your podium. Or
I
should I
do,
talk?
but if you speak the truth, you're
If you
most
want me
welcome to
to
speak.
speak,
Yes,
if
tell
you
me about
want me to
Mohsin
speak,
Naqvi.
you can counter my arguments. But if you do not want me to speak, I'll just keep quiet and just be a witness. And you keep your bashing whatever you want to
Okay.
do. If it is like this, then well, as far as the team is concerned,
Sir, you have
I
30
think the
seconds
same
to say your
debate
piece.
the same debate was being heard on Indian televisions about when Indian team was not performing. Now they are performing. That's good for them. Pakistan needs to work hard. Pakistan ruled the cricket once. Pakistan ruled hockey, squash, and snooker. Now if there is a up and down everywhere in the world, in economy, in military strategy, diplomacy. If it
In
was
Pakistan,
the
you must
Hindu,
wonder why there is down, down, and more down. Why are there no ups in Pakistan? For the simple reason that you
no,
must
sir.
know, and since you're
Allow
listening
me
to me, I
allow me
want
to
this to be,
respond.
I want you to experience this. And only I
Allow me
am,
to
no,
respond.
you had your time, you wasted it, quite like Pakistan does. Sir, you lost 9 of your terror headquarters, and you're aware of Muridke and Bahawalpur. You also lost many of your military installations, including your air bases that were lost in Operation Sindoor. And since you understand matters military, you know what a loss it is when Sargodha is hit, when Noor Khan is hit, when Rahim Yar Khan is hit, when Jacobabad is hit, when Bulari is hit. And then when Pakistan seeks a ceasefire, you know that's abject surrender, which you're unwilling to accept. And that is why you will try to fire off Donald Trump's shoulders. No, sir, the world does not listen. And I'm so glad everything is live so that the world knows when Pakistan lost. Whether it's on the 22 yards or in Operation Sindoor or in times to come. I want to thank Nikhil, Vikrant, and Abdullah Hamid Gul for joining me here on this India First special broadcast. In picturesque Tawang, at the Buddhist monastery here in Tawang, listening to soul-soothing Buddhist chants. With me is Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju, who's travelled to the border areas in Tawang, in Arunachal Pradesh. But Minister, are you now geared up for a very loud, perhaps noisy second part of the budget session? The first part we saw, was that the trailer? Do we see the movie now?
No, for the government, every parliament session is important because that is a mandate given by the constitution, and we are duty bound to follow the rules and regulations as it has been prescribed. So we are prepared for any kind of situation because that is our duty. So I'm prepared and looking forward to the second part of the parliament session.
Will Rahul Gandhi be permitted to speak as leader of opposition? Because the opposition feels his voice is being cut off literally and figuratively in parliament.
No, we can't make parliament a laughing stock because when you are speaking in parliament, you are to follow certain rules. There are rules of procedure and conduct of business which is there since long time. When these rules were framed, Rahul Gandhi's grandfather, grandmother, they were there. During that time, these rules were made. Even Rahul Gandhi's father, grandfather, grandmother, they will also follow the rules. And I believe that they have never broken the rules of the parliament. It is only Rahul Gandhi who just doesn't understand rules, who doesn't follow the norms, conventions of the parliamentary proceedings, which is very unfortunate. There are people who say that Rahul Gandhi should be allowed to speak. Tell me, it's a plain question. A book which is not published, a sensitive book which is not been published yet, and which has been clearly stated by the publishers and the author. Still Rahul Gandhi wants to quote it. Where from he quoted when the book is not published? Who has made this kind of dirty story to damage the security setup or the confidence and morale of our soldiers, our people? Is it good that you can quote anything without rules and regulation? We can't allow that. If we allow him to speak without following any rules, then we will be accused of letting loose the parliament function without observing any stipulated rules.
You know, you're son of the soil and you take a lot of interest in issues of national security, and you understand the situation at India-Tibet border, whether it's Arunachal Pradesh or in Ladakh or the middle sector. Tell me this, even if he's quoting something, these are the thoughts of an ex-army chief. If he says, "Jo uchit samjho wo karo," quoting the Raksha Mantri, is that not a free hand given, as some analysts have argued on Chakravarti?
You have to understand one thing. I feel sometimes our people don't devote much time to understand what the matter is. Right and wrong and policies and directions will come later. First of all, is he allowed to quote a book which is not published yet? That is a basic. He got stuck there. He doesn't know anything else to speak. He comes with a cheat, a note sheet, which has been provided by his NGO advisors, and then he gets stuck to that. National security is much beyond. Secondly, if we keep discussing about what is the conversation between defense minister and prime minister, the defense minister and army chief and the local commander, if you are going to discuss this thing just for the sake of your own interest or it generate news, how the nation's security will be taken care of? This is not a child's play. This is a serious national security matter. Should you be discussing about the conversation of something which is highly privileged and highly sensitive communication between the people who are sitting in the responsible positions? It is not that easy to understand, but at least people like Rahul Gandhi should understand. I don't know, in Congress party nobody has the ability to tell Rahul Gandhi that what he is doing is a childish act, and it is actually diminishing his own stature and undermining the national security.
So, but that's a very grave charge that you, as Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister, is levelling on the leader of opposition, that he's been given chits by some NGO. Which is this NGO, and what kind of advice, in your view, is he getting, and is that detrimental to national security?
No, there are many NGOs worldwide who are working in India also. They keep working against national interests of India. And these NGOs are in tandem working with Rahul Gandhi. So that is why Rahul Gandhi speaks what will damage India's national interests. If you closely monitor and if you recall all those statements which Rahul Gandhi has made, all those people which Rahul Gandhi has been traveling around and meeting, then you will easily come to know the company of people which Rahul Gandhi always seemed to be working along with.
So Rahul Gandhi, as leader of opposition, is damaging national interest, is what you're saying?
He is the most dangerous person right now to harm the national interest, because when he speaks, people think that he's a leader of opposition, so it has a connotation and it has a ramification. So when leader of opposition speaks, it has its own importance and its own impact. So that is why I said that when he speaks against India's national interest, it has deep repercussions. When he says that Indian army have been humiliated by the Chinese, when he says that India has been defeated by the Pakistanis, when he says that Indian economy is dead, when Rahul Gandhi says that Indian democracy is dead, that harms India more than if anybody else would have said it.
Sir, in this second session, part of the budget session, the opposition is already raising questions about the Epstein files. They're asking questions about why a current union minister, of course, who was then a top ex-diplomat, why was he, or a top Indian industrialist, in touch with such...
See, we are not here to talk about who has done what. If my party or my leader have been implicated in a certain case, then I will react. When it comes to Hardeep Puri, he has himself clarified that he has not done anything wrong, and when he had exchanges, some kind of a conversation, mail or these are for India's interests, he did it. He was not minister that time, he was diplomat, and he did it in the capacity of a responsible person at that time. And as per his claim and his statement, he has done all those things to further national interest, for India's interest. That's all. I don't have to offer anything else beyond that.
I also want to ask you, before I let you go, and I know you have a big schedule here lined up in Tawang, but I also want to quickly ask you about the India-US trade deal. The Prime Minister has spoken about it, but should the Parliament not have been briefed? Because again, the leader of opposition, and then there are others who say that interests of Indian farmers have been compromised in certain aspects. They talk about soybean, they talk about additional items, and they're saying this is where our interests are.
No, there are two things. The opposition parties have no right to talk about discussion or statement in the parliament, because they don't want to take part in the discussion and they don't want to let parliament function smoothly. So forget about the opposition demand for discussion, because they themselves don't want discussion actually. It's just mere a political stunt to give statement. Secondly, no community, no section of the society in India, whether it's the farmers, the laborers, or the manufacturers, or our industry workers, you see all the section, not a single time you will see that their interest has ever been compromised, especially during Prime Minister Modi's tenure. Nothing is to be worried, because it is Prime Minister's commitment to the nation that the interest of everybody will be protected. But when in a trade you are doing give and take and understanding and some kind of adjustment. These are the details which a concerned minister will say. How much it will benefit India, how much we have access to the $30 trillion US economy. These are details because I am not authorized to detail about all these things because I am not part of the negotiation. The concerned minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, has already spoken in detail in a couple of times that how this deal is actually huge benefit to India, and there's nothing that India has surrendered or sacrificed.
So, will there be a debate on this in Parliament in Lok Sabha? He wasn't able to speak in Lok Sabha?
I can't say right now because we will see when the second part of the budget session convenes.
So, what is the biggest thing that you intend doing in the second part of budget session if the opposition continues to obstruct?
No, we don't have to think anything extra thing. We have to conduct the business and transact the business. We have to take care of the country. We are not here to serve the opposition people. We are here to serve the nation. If opposition party is not interested in running the house, we will run the house and we will transact the business. No, we are not answerable to one member or two member. We are answerable to the entire parliament. So parliament cannot be put to hostage by one party or one leader.
Do others in the opposition want to participate?
There are many opposition parties which are blaming Rahul Gandhi and Congress party now because of one man's his own style of functioning. The other smaller parties members who would have got chance to speak and contribute, they have lost the chance. So they are actually very upset with Rahul Gandhi.
Sir, women MPs are upset. They're saying that why are you saying that women MPs were out to target the Prime Minister? Are you saying they were out to physically, bodily harm him?
They can harm, but we can only say that if they want to harm the Prime Minister, we will allow our MPs to also come and protect. So the situation would have been very ugly. Our numbers are more. We had prevented our MPs from going down. Just imagine if we had also told our MPs to go and confront. It will be very ugly. Then you will also say that why we are not stopping our own MPs, why this fight has taken place. The physical confrontation is not the way to function Parliament.
How will you stop this next time in the second part of the budget session? Should something like
There
this
are
happen?
enough mechanisms in the rules to take care of all these things.
It's snowing heavily here near the line of actual control. Several vehicles were held up. In fact, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju, his vehicle was also held up. So the Border Roads Organization, they've put chains on vehicles. Those vehicles that have chain, as you can see here, those vehicles are able to move forward. The others are being sent back. It's extremely risky, the manner in which these vehicles are now moving up. But just a short while back, listen into my conversation with Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju as vehicles were slipping. It's a slippery road, whether it's the Parliament budget session or the line of actual control where we are right now. Listen in. बहुत कठिन जिंदगी है यहाँ पर। LAC के पास हम लोग यहाँ पर हैं। वाई जंक्शन, बुमला, संगीतसर का ये इलाका है और 2022 में यहाँ काफी सिचुएशन भी था यंगसे में। ऐसे में आप पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर हैं और आप सन ऑफ द सॉइल अरुणाचल प्रदेश के हैं। जब पार्लियामेंट में कहा जाता है कि हमारे लड़के, हमारे सेना पिट गई या गलवान का मुद्दा उठाया जाता है, एज सन ऑफ द सॉइल एंड एज पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर इन समन जो यहाँ रहते हैं,
ये जो ग्रेफ का बॉर्डर रोड्स के दो ऑफिसर जवान हैं, आर्मी के, ITBP के, यहाँ के गांव के लोग सोचो कैसे जीता होगा।
लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन वो मुद्दा उठा रहे हैं जनरल नरावने की किताब को उठाकर। वो यांग से वाले इंसिडेंट को बोल रहे हैं कि हमारे बंदे पिट जाते हैं।
नहीं, वो तो उसको कुछ मालूम नहीं ना, राहुल गांधी को बॉर्डर के बारे में नहीं मालूम, इसलिए बोल रहे हैं।
we are at the line of actual control, very close to the line of actual control, and these are the braves of the Border Road Organization who are making roads here. Once upon a time, as Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju was telling me, that roads were not being made in the border area in the previous government because there was apprehension that the adversary could use them. That was the thinking earlier. Now the thinking is make roads wherever they're needed right till the very end, or if I may, the beginning, the vibrant villages, the first villages close to the LAC. And these are those braves with the war cry of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. They are building those roads for vehicles to move. Cameraman Sanjay Kumar at the line of actual control in Arunachal Pradesh with the braves of the Border Roads Organization. Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
भारत माता की
जय।
भारत माता की
जय।
भारत माता की
Jai.